Hey, good morning, guys. Can you hear me? I'd love to tell you all about why I'm late. Mm. Let's just say it hasn't been a very pleasant. It hasn't been such a pleasant morning. I can't really tell you more than that. Anyway, I'm terribly sorry I'm so late, and I wish I could say it'll never happen again, but who knows what the future. I can't talk about the future anymore. I have no idea what the future holds for any of us, and I certainly can't plan on it. Well, this is looking quite lovely here. My goodness, this is almost exactly what I wanted to see. And this is one that I'll have to hold for days for it to make sense at all. Um, Sorry, I'm just not in the not in the perfect state of mind to be doing this, but let's continue on. Looks like an ending diagonal, doesn't it? Ah, I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay. All right. I'm fine. I've taken some acting classes before, so I think we'll be just fine. Let's just carry on here. Sorry about being late and whatnot, but life's a bitch. What can I say? All right. So I am wanting to take this trade for a couple of weeks now, and I think that that was it right there. And we're just breaking out of the ending diagonal, which is an entry for many people. I think that's the way old Prector would take it. And they're all clearly going long right now. It's a very large stop, but sure does look like a good trade. It's not quite to the bottom of this. Well, let's see. Maybe it is, depending upon how you connect it. If I connect it here and drag it back to the low, oh yeah. That looks like it's it, guys and gals. Hopefully we get a retracement back inside of that ending pattern here, but I doubt it very, very much. Yeah, I'd love to say that that's where I was long from, but maybe we can do a kiss goodbye. From here. It's really not that far away. It's 70 pips. So if we break above this 1.1674 and then pull back to 1.1657-ish, 58. Well, by then it would be 1655. That may just be the re-entry point. This is one that, yeah, I've been waiting for a long time. I've been really wanting to get into this, what I think is a third of a third. So I imagine the next push up is going to look something like this. I don't like, well, let's just try this one. Oh, even that one sets up. Okay, well, I'll leave that on there. Yeah, I mean, any way you slice it, that's the low. Doesn't get much clearer than that. Doesn't mean that it's going to go straight up. It just means that we have a pretty good chance that it will. It could potentially come all the way back to here and still be valid. But, I mean, that's the spot right there. For sure. And the target is above 120. It's many, 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 many pips and ticks away. I'd say it's at least 120, 1.205. Like right there at the very minimum. But I think that is probably going to be the end of wave one. I should not have that on there. Yeah. Yep. And that's going to be the big first wave up, I think, of wave 3. Which who knows how far that's going to go. Very, very far. Don't need that one anymore. I don't know that this upper median line is going to be all that useful, because no other, well, let's try this one back here. Does that look any better? It does, you know, to the left of the end bar of the baseline. So you got the start bar on the left where you start the pattern, right? And then you've got the end bar, which is where the second click is. It's that one. So let's just see real quick. It's very interesting. The auto line also lines up with that low. So yeah, this down sloping upper median line here, I think will in fact be the target. But we've got a few different ones, not just that one. So on the way up, you first have, let's say that it stops here and it goes up. And this is a continuous contract. I'll do it again from the front month, the December contract. So if you don't have continuous contracts, well, then you'll still be able to get it. I'm going to ignore the chat for a little bit. I appreciate it, guys. It's just a little bit of an emotional panty waste. But I really do appreciate it. I would say this is the first target. So if we turn up from that channel, which it appears that we are doing, have done, and will continue to do, then this midline, any line created from that channel will then therefore become a very strong potential area for support or resistance. In this case, on the way up at the high, we would say resistance, or an area where supply could come in. Okay. So I would also copy that and then attach it to the highest high of that wick, and that would then become the area between those two lines that we would look to make it to. And I'll color that yellow. So that's this area. That's about 2 weeks from now. It may just go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And 100% of that move would take us to 1.21620. So it may only take until the mid to late part of next week to make it up to here. It's not a short, but it's a target for a long if you're into swing trading, as I want you to be. As I would have you be if you worked for me. But you don't. You work with me. And I can just make suggestions. But yeah, swing trading, I think you'll find after tomorrow is likely your I'm speaking French. It's going to be the easiest way for you to retain your money, safeguard it, most importantly, but also achieve consistency and grow that account, as opposed to blow it very, very quickly, as most people do. So that's what we want to talk about tomorrow. I was going to talk about that today, but I can't do it today. Yeah, we're having a hard time breaking through this in crude. Looks like we're either going to get another chance at a wave 2 short, if this is in fact 1, 2, or at least well, it's the wrong nomenclature. I believe. No, it didn't. Or let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, or at least AB. I think it's AB, but you know, yeah. Let me do it the right way then. But it could be 1, 2. That would mean bad news. In the not too distant future, like tomorrow type deal. So this is what I had laid out three Sundays ago, showing that this was the end of the ending diagonal for the fifth wave. But I mean, it only makes sense when you go from 1 to 3 and you find the end of wave 4, right? And then we've got a nice ABC for 1, ABC for 2, ABC for 3, WXY. And then ABC for 4, A, triangle B, C for 5. That's our wave 1. I don't know that that nomenclature is correct. It may be. It probably is. But this is an intermediate, which is the second highest degree that I'm showing. Primary degree is a massive wave that you would usually only label on a weekly chart. So this is the minor degree, the standard Arabic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, without any parentheses or circles. And then this is the, so that's the minor. This is the, what is it called? The subminor, or the, what do they call it? The minute degree. So I think this is a minute A down, minute B up, and now we're looking for the third wave of C down, which is not yet kicked off, which makes me think that this is in fact not the end of wave 2. It could be. Oh, if it is, then we're setting up for what is about to be the fastest short that you've ever seen. All right, let's do that. I need to get over this crybaby business. It's definitely not sexy. All right, here's our daily. Right. Yeah, maybe we just make it down to here. Nope. I am going to use that wick. I wouldn't normally, but just like the way that lines up. Let me try something. Nah, I was just seeing if that midline lined up with the low, but it doesn't. All right. Yeah, so we may be about to see a pretty serious short in crude that I would definitely want to be a part of, depending upon how fast it comes down. We'll see. Oh man, come on. Just checking something real fast. Yeah. It's kind of interesting. I think there's something to this slope that's going to become useful in finding that target low. Look at it. These highs, that low, it's pretty close to the open of that big gap down. I would expect to see that get filled. Not filled, well, whatever I'm saying. Come down into here. It's not the right color. And then I think we'll have our wave 2 low in the midst of that circle over the next Thursday, Friday, probably Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. I think that's about all I need from a weekly chart. Yeah, buddy, that looks good. Okay, well, it could just be that we're pulling back into like a kiss goodbye type of a situation, which, use this one. Nah, it's not really a kiss goodbye. It's more like support. And it has not yet broken through that. Not what I was hoping for. Hey, it looks more like we could potentially be going even higher. But I'm not going to, don't let me talk you into missing out on what could be the short of a lifetime. I'll just keep silent until I have a fairly good idea as to what is most likely going to happen with my magical crystal ball over here. She's a good crystal. She's just not as right as often as I would have her be. Okay, that's worthless to me. This is the one that is most valuable. All right, I'm starting to think that we are putting in the smaller wave too high, that we may have already done that at 9 o'clock, and that we are about to be heading down into a very fast move. Oof, look at this. Okay. Oh man. Yikes. Yeah, it's looking like a wave one down. And look at what happened after into, what is that? Shortly after I closed the room, huh? Or just, wait a minute. When did I close the room yesterday? Yeah, it was noon. And I thought I'd missed the short here, because that's where I closed my long, and I was talking about potentially stopping and reversing, remember? But that it hadn't quite touched the top of the channel. But it did hit the median line. Well, look at the subsequent swing high. It's picture perfect, totally symmetrical. And when I say symmetrical, I mean the last bars are touching both the center median line, the median line. I gotta think of a better name for that. The actual median line and the channel. That's very, very lovely. Is that an ending diagonal of a C wave and a leading diagonal of an A wave? I do believe it is. If we could go back and make it look like we're breaking out to the upside, go through this area, and then hit 40-40. I don't know that it's going to do that. We've already hit the midline here. All right, let me just tell you what I want to happen. I want to go right there. And what is that? That's our 78.6. I don't know that it will go, but man, that would look wonderful. It really would look great. It just already looks like it's having serious struggle moving higher. So the short is either right there and I missed it, or it could be happening as a lower high on the 2-minute chart right here, right now, or let's say 5 minutes ago. And more like, let's see, more like 13 or 14 minutes ago. All right, I'm gonna think a bit harder about this before I continue more talk. No way, it actually did what I wanted it to do. Break that high? No way. How did I not see that? Okay, am I missing something? Did the report come out late yesterday? What is the deal here with this huge amount of volume? Anybody know what that was all about? Was it a late report? I don't think so, was it? That's very odd, isn't it? Kind of what you would expect out of manipulators. Really psyching people into going long there, aren't they? If you remember how it was when you first started, and you would see a really fast move like that, you would start to think, well, I can just go long, and this thing, because of momentum and the laws of physics, nonsense, 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 it'll just keep on going, and I'll just make money. No, I wish it were like that. I wish that were true. But alas, it's not. That is the perfect short. Unbelievable. Almost as good as what we saw Sunday night in the ES. And then we've got a good looking high here. It's just that it doesn't make it to the top of the channel, does it? Not from the low, maybe, but from the higher low? I bet it does. Still not quite. Okay. Well, that may just be because of the significantly weak position it's in. I got a feeling we're about to be screaming to the downside. I really either that or it is actually going to make it to the top of the channel, like I was saying moments ago, and make it to 4040. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to jump in short here. That would be way too much risk for me. But, if you've got a ginormous account, maybe it's not so bad. At any rate, your stop would have to be at least behind that high, 4015-ish. I just don't see how this is a wave one down here, unless it's a leading diagonal down, or this is an expanded flat up. I bet that's what it is. Look, I bet that's your 1, that's your 2, and that is your A, expanded flat B, C, which would mean what? 1, 2, and now you're going into the third of the third of the third. Goodness gracious. Really hope I'm wrong, because I wanted to get into this short, wanted to get into it yesterday. Stop and reverse here. Glad I didn't, because I would have been quite rapidly taken out. But I should have been all over that short. I don't know what I was doing. I think we were answering questions. Please turn back up for me. Never, ever ask the market to do that, by the way. It'll always do the opposite of what you ask it to do. Surely you guys know that, though. Hoping and wishing and praying. Yeah, none of that works, does it? Unfortunately. Best to hone your skill. Stop all this foolishness. Best to learn statistics and risk analysis and know what you're capable of making. Know what is totally irrational to believe and what's actually possible. And we are going to cover that tomorrow. At least mildly. I don't want to overwhelm, and I certainly don't want to dissuade you or, burst any bubbles. Sometimes some of those bubbles need to be burst, though. Wrong thinking breeds wrong decision making, breeds bad life. And we want good life, right? Not bad. So maybe we should burst some bubbles tomorrow. I'm at least going to show you what the statistics Numbers don't lie. People lie. And people lie about their numbers. And people can interpret numbers wrongly, on purpose even. See a lot of that in the news. But there is a right way and a wrong way to look at statistics. There's really only a right way to do it right. To do it wrong is to be a fool, basically. Or just ignorant, rather. And you don't want to be ignorant in this business because you are up against some people that just are, I would not classify as ignorant. Brightest minds in the world, actually. And now the bastards have AI. Yeah, it didn't quite do that, Daniel, but it did do this. ABCX, ABC. If it's over at the current high here, it's a double three. Let me just see if what I'm thinking is possible. Not quite. Nope, it's not possible. Pretty sure it's over. Well, I can cry about it, or I can just find another trade. I think I'll find another trade. All right. All right, I'm going to put this one on. Oh. And tomorrow we will open it up for, open mic night. If your singing sucks, I'm turning you off, though. Yep, it's looking like it's done. All right, then. Fine. A, B, C. Okay, this is probably the most common pattern. A, B, could be a triangle B, it doesn't matter. C. What is that called? Hmm? I know you know. Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? 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 Close, but no cigar. Double three. Anytime you see a W, X, Y, it's a double three always. Two ABCs put together. It's probably the most common correction, and it's certainly the one that most often traces out a channel, perfect channel. I'm just hoping that it'll be the rarest of patterns, which would be a triple three. The rarest of patterns is the expanding triangle, but second rarest would be the triple three, which would mean one more A, B, C up to about 40-40, and then I'd be able to get the short. Now, if you are the type that has, as it were, cojones, muy largas. I don't think that's even a word, largas. I don't even know what that means. Probably means lakes or something. No, that's lagos. You could sell the break of that trend line, but that is one trade that I never could stomach the size of the stop. But then again, I was typically trading with scared money in a small account. The two things that are the biggest, or let's say the two things that are the greatest causes for people such as ourselves blowing their accounts. That's the beginning of it. Trading with small account and scared money you can't afford to lose, which leads to all sorts of terrible behavior, which we'll talk about a bit tomorrow. It's half the reason people go into downward spirals and move their stops. Well, you can move your stops even with a large account. It's kind of a pride thing. And then adding to losing positions because you saw someone do it and they made money one time, or you've done it a few times and it's pulled you out of what would have been a gigantic losing trade. So you have positive reinforcement for the most negative of all behaviors in trading. Essentially what I'm talking about is all trader psychology, which is an enormous subject. And if you want to read some of the best material ever made on the subject, you would want to find Brett Steenbarger's material. He works with a guy now at S&B Capital that does a bit more marketing now than I'm comfortable with. I mean, it's the, NLP, it's the gimmick stuff that triggers people to buy, and I hate it. I don't want to trigger someone to do something. I want them to do according to what's best for them, and I don't want to have to talk them into it. Talk them into making a good decision is one thing. persuading them using manipulation is quite a different thing. I don't like manipulation in any form. Quite detest it, actually. Don't you? Just so happens I have found another trade. Make sure I'm on the right screen real quick. Take 2, min 2. Let's move this bad boy over here. Minute. I've limited the number of monitors. And it's just, I don't like it. I need my 6. Give me a minute, guys. I'll answer your questions in a moment. Let me get sorted real fast. That's wrong. That's wrong. What is right? Okay. 15, 30 minutes. Yeah, this guy's going right here. Okay, this is perfect. Perfect. Yeah, 4 monitors is not so bad. It's difficult to watch both instruments or more at the same time. A little bit. I mean, I could make it work, but I don't like it like that. Uh, yeah, Surajit, I've had a horrific morning, and I'd just rather just simply apologize and not talk about it, if you don't mind. 6 monitors, Jared. Mm-hmm. Evidently, according to Mr. NASA, you know, the most wonderful organization on Earth that doesn't lie. It's sarcasm. They would suggest that 3 monitors as opposed to 2 is well, 3 is better than 2. One in the center, one to the left, one to the right. And I found that using 32-inch monitors, 3 of them, the field of view is just a bit too wide, and you find your neck turning quite a bit more than your neck would appreciate. So I would recommend 24-inch monitors. I have now 25-inch monitors that are just the most beautiful monitors I've ever seen. They're the new 25-inch Dell monitors, which I can pay off with 0 interest over the next 18 months. And I think they're $333 a piece. Yikes, that's a bit expensive, but they are quite beautiful. And the picture quality is unlike anything I've ever seen to this day. Now, you can use Acer or Asus 22 or 24-inch monitors, even 21-inch, 621 inches is what I used to use. But I prefer the look of 24-inch, really. 6 24-inch monitors. You can get a 6 monitor stand from Mono Price. MONO Price, Mono Price. They make a 6 monitor stand that I think it's like $130, $150. And then you can get Acer or Asus, just standard 1080p, nothing fancy. I think the new ones actually do have all that eye care, low blue light stuff for about $110 a piece. And I think you can do even better than that with Samsung 24-inch, getting similar for about $80 a piece, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 90, 89. So I would go with 6 monitors. It seems like a lot, but you get used to it. It's like anything. I think I have our target. I just need to go over the higher time frames first, because it would appear that the low, it at least looks like we now have a completed 5 down, even though they're overlapping. I think we're in wave B of an ABC down for a 5th wave of an ending diagonal for wave C. Now, doesn't that make just perfect sense? Understand exactly what I'm saying, don't you? Let me show you what I mean. First of all, let me catch up on my due practice here. Ooh, it'll be on the 50% retracement too, as if that means anything. It's just a number. But it does coincide with the midpoint of this triangle 3 days ago. Maybe that's Friday. Yeah. And then these low points, support becomes resistance. I heard somebody say that somewhere once. Edwards and McGee, maybe. And then every, all of the 27 vendors that sell support and resistance zones that I'll probably just give away as a free indicator in a couple of months, since I've already made it myself personally. One of the few things I've actually coded myself. Here it comes. I'm not late, right? I don't have delayed data. Nope, I'm all good. Just to open up a dome and make sure I'm on the right screen. Yeah, 2 high by 3 wide. That's right. 3 across the bottom, 3 across the top. It's the best field of view. I mean, that's debatable, but for me, I really like that. 4 is kind of awkward to me. 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top. I don't like it. Feels unnatural. We may have a short coming up here, or we may have a trap if the low is already in. I don't want to do a whole bunch of shifting around right at the moment, because I think we're right in the midst of decision point time. And we are about to break that high right this second. I can feel it getting sluggish, so it's moving. Dang it. No. Give me a second. I'm just editing something. Oh, let me export that. Well, I can't just yet. Hang on one second. No. Sexy. Okay, we just ticked out the high. Is that it? It's close. Close, but not quite good enough. I've got to see 58. I think we're about to get this one. That's right, Miss Sandy. It is. That's exactly what it is. How do I say it? Aeronaut, 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 air, air, aeronaut. Never mind. I'll try again tomorrow. Yeah, I was close. Aeronaut. No. I'll get better. Aeronaut is asking what charts belong together. I lost it a little bit. Do you have a description, what I can read? So with the update that's coming out, I'm writing it's a short PDF on just the workspaces and the charts and what you can get away with modifying and what you cannot get away with modifying. Just something short and sweet that you can print out. And then I'm not sure exactly what you mean by what charts go together. I'm thinking that you're asking like, what's the minimum number of charts that I kind of actually need? Or what chart is responsible for what Bloodhound template? Or did something happen? Did you delete a chart? Yes, it does. It does. I was going over that a little bit each day. You'll find it in the recordings, but of course, you know, you got to wade through it. The Sunday recording from Sunday night, I go into that quite a bit actually. And someone had asked a question, I think it was Miss Diane yesterday. And I think that's why I wasn't looking at crude, because I went into basically a diatribe of sorts of explaining the nuances between the charts, why I use so many charts. I'm going to go ahead and enter one. Well, it's actually two. I didn't hear anything, did you? It's odd. I know my speakers are on. No, they're not. No, they're not. They are now. And I got in too early and I wanted to get into one here and a second one higher, but I used Blackbird, unfortunately. I could have controlled it. I just forgot that I'm using the one that has two contracts. Still didn't fix that thing for me. Because it's a feature request. It's not an actual bug. Right. Yeah, no, I would say the order snapping to 0 is indeed a bug. That's just me personally. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Really peeves me. Time to make me own Blackbird, I reckon. Oh, you did hear the sound? Okay, yeah, it's just I had my volume all the way down, evidently. Yeah, so, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this, but the one is the starting point. Okay. So, depending upon the contract or the instrument, the 1 minute chart, the minute chart that has this one in parentheses around it, or to the at the end of it, goodness gracious, I'll get there. That is the first and smallest minute chart, and that's also the chart. Okay, now I get the short signal. Yeah, this is where I should have started going short according to my strategy. Thank you very much. The first signal of the day. See, all of these, this is the row 1, the row 2. These are not short signals. Everyone likes to, I guess, attempt to trade them and then think that this is all garbage. Not everyone, but I'm saying some people have done that in the past and alluded to this all being just a joke. But this is the final signal over here. Now I should be going short. That is not a suggestion. I'm not here to tell you how to trade or call trades, and you should not be trying to mirror my trades. Everyone that's attempted that in the past has not done very well. Yeah, consider yourself disclaimed and myself indemnified and absolved of any legal ramifications, as it were. It doesn't mean that it's going to stop here. And notice how I'm getting the short as it continues to move up. Okay, that's because I'm attempting to get in as close to what I expect the end of this corrective wave to be, even though I'm second guessing that it is a corrective wave, in fact, because it's moving up and out of that low today with some significant speed. However, it has just completed 5 waves in what appears to be a potential C wave, and it's just right into the perfect spot. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better looking area to short, to be quite honest with you. In fact, this is what we have in Blackbird. Oh, chart scaling. B. That's right, he did add it. I thought he told me he added it. So this is what controls those orders going to 0. But I don't just need it for the dynamic planning. I need it for the actual main orders themselves. So I guess it's half done. It's half done. So I can't be as critical. I got to work on that. I'll get back to what I was saying. This is how we can dynamically scale into a trade. So I'm going to scale in +1. All right. And that means I'm going to scale in short. And this is dynamic planning. So it's not an immediate execution. And order set B is the one that will go for the largest target, which means it also has a slightly larger stop. Okay, if I'm going to scale in just one contract, I'll typically do that with order set A. And even though I turned chart scaling off, I'm seeing chart scaling. Hello? My Lord. Yeah, I make my own Blackbird now. Tired of this nonsense.
Order submitted.
Come on, baby, just one more tick.
Order submitted.
Yeah. Yeah, so much for chart scaling. Doesn't work. And you'll probably see me get stopped out of this. I need to take a break anyway. So the reason I was second guessing this so hard is because of the speed at which we've moved up and out of it. Out of the low, I mean. So let me get back to your question. I don't know. I'll try again tomorrow. And just go over this real quick because it's kind of important at the moment. I'm about to get stopped out. Yeah, so if that was wave 4, well then where is wave 5? Oh, right where I thought it would go down to. That's weird. Or is it? So the only reason I was thinking that we could have a high here, and I'm kind of thinking we might just do that and go down one more time, is that it looks very ending diagonal-ish. And I'll tell you what I mean in a moment. In fact, it doesn't quite look all that ending diagonalish yet. But if it were to make one more move down, and that happened to be the end of this entire move, then we would be forced to count this as an ending diagonal of a C wave. And the reason for that would be that well, let me just think where A would actually finish in that regard. I think you'd have to call that wave 1 down, and 2, ABC for 3, ABC up for 4, that broke inside of wave 1, and then we'd be looking for one more ABC down for 5, 4 or 5. I say fur a lot, like Irishman. Fur. What for? Give him a what for. I think that's where part of our southern accent comes from, is the Irish. It's amazing. I can talk about 20 subjects in about 20 seconds. I don't know if that's a skill or a curse. Okay, Miss Haneke, you had asked me a question, though. Let me answer it. What did you ask earlier? Did you? Are you still here? Didn't you ask something? Dan, can you perhaps explain how we can benefit from the workspaces when I make a copy of them to add some of my own charts? Yep, that's the big one. So let me see if I have that installed. If I don't, I'll show it to you real quick. I'll just log in. Let me just make sure I've got it. What's that called? No. Give me 1 second and I'll show you. No, I don't. But I'll show it to you. For some reason, my mind went blank when I tried to think of the name of the app I have it written in. I've got it spread out a couple places, but pretty sure Cedric has started an article in Happy Fox on that topic. But if he hasn't, that's the one that's one of the main ones that's going to go out with the installers today. I'm not allowed to talk about the future anymore. Nimbus Note, that's it. Nimbus Note. So I've got this started, and I've got just a little bit more to do. We're going to turn this, though, into an app. Goodness gracious. Let me just show you this real quick before you leave. I mean, it's going to be no easy project turning this into an app. Believe me. Which screen am I on? This one? Yep. Let's see. It's volume analyst. Editing chart periods and workspace files. This one is a bit much. You would have to have a rather costly app to do that one. So I'm not, this is kind of the beginnings of some specifications for the app. But this one will teach you how you can copy an existing workspace and then turn it turn it into a new workspace for any other instrument. It's I don't know. People look at, and then I've got all this hodgepodge of me trying to attempt to figure out what are the best bar types and periods and whatnot. But there's really not many other steps beyond what I've got, what I have here. I just need to write these into actual steps for people, for you guys to understand. So really all you have to do is download this Notepad++, which is a free app. Make sure you don't download it from any other site other than the one which the creators of it are the host. In other words, download it from the place that made it. Don't download it from CNET or whatever. Just click on this link, you'll download it. And then all you need to do is edit the workspace file. The problem with this is it depends upon what instrument you're going to. So if I were going to crude oil, well, crude oil has NYMEX instead of Globex. And then the German Bund has, I can't remember, or maybe it's gold that has COMEX instead of Globex. But that's the part that is a little bit tricky, which is why I'm going to list out all of the most common instrument stocks, futures, forex, and you'll just be able to copy from a list that will look similar to this. You'll just be able to select, right click, copy, and then paste it in. Yeah, so there aren't that many steps, but they have to be done in precise order. And then once you've copied all of the Bloodhound and Blackbird templates, you can do what's called a mass edit of all of the files within a particular folder using this free app, Notepad++. So then you select Find in Files, and you just search for, you know, if you copied the ES workspace and you're changing it to the RTY for the Russell, then you just simply select Match Case, Normal Search, and then you would have ES written here, RTY here, no space after it, no space before it, and then you click on Replace All, and it will replace every instance of ES with RTY and all of those Bloodhound template files. And then when you open that workspace up, it'll instantly open up with all the right settings. And I mean, you'll have to update the values of the tick charts and the row charts, but that's it. So that's going to be cool. That's the part that I wanted to automate, though, because that's a little bit time consuming. very time consuming to constantly update the values of the tick and the row bars. And because we have the time frame tuner and the Ninja Manager, you know, why couldn't we just make it a super duper uber awesome Ninja Manager that can actually copy workspaces and Bloodhound and Blackbird templates? And then 2021, we won't even need that because we'll have something similar to a spaceship. Maybe even more awesome. Probably much more awesome. Yeah, spaceships pale in comparison to what we're going to have in 2021. Okay, I think you're already gone. And then I have some more questions to answer. Yeah, you're still here. Okay, good. So, yeah, that's going to come with these updates. And then you'll be able to copy a workspace. It's not going to be super easy, but I'm going to record myself doing it for the toolbar workspace and then for one of the master suite workspaces. But you're using it to make a workspace for a different instrument. Oh, the same instrument. Oh, okay. I totally misunderstood. What's your end goal? Just to have a backup, just in case one gets messed up. Because I'm adding a backup folder to the workspaces folder that'll have a backup of all of the workspaces for TTP. So in this coming update, you'll have that folder in your workspaces folder that'll say TTP backup workspaces. If that was the goal that you had in mind, was just, I see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yep. As long as the workspace name remains the same, that's what the Bloodhound templates and solvers are all connected to, is the workspace name. All right. The workspace name and also the chart ID. It used to be the chart ID, but we replaced that with the source chart tag. See, this is min5, which for the ES is for most workspaces is a 60-minute chart. And I'm about to get stopped up. So this is what the readers are connected to. The order of the indicators, such that if you want to add new indicators, you add them below, which it does that by default anyway. And just don't move them up and down. But we've got a failsafe in there also that if you do happen to change the order, the next time you start up, the reader manager will automatically reconnect. The only problem with that is if you have two volume analysts on the same chart. And that's one of the things that we're including in the volume analyst rewrite is, differentiating between those more effectively and efficiently. So you kind of figured that out the hard way. Yeah, sorry. It's such an elaborate system. It's yeah. It's like I've got 1,000 pages of documentation to write that when I sit down to start writing it, it's very overwhelming. Yeah. But we're about to have some help with that too, so you're welcome. Okay, sorry. Yep, take care. Have a good day. Talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, there was really, that's 2 days in a row I've done that with the ES. Taking a trade that I really didn't have much faith in. I'm just wondering if this is in fact the low that it appears to be. It would be one heck of a fourth wave. Still valid. There he goes, using those fibs. Did we break that low? Not quite. No, not quite. No, I don't think we are done to the downside. I think I was early and simply chose the wrong low before the high. You always hear me talk about that, or you will if you're new. Using the low before the high and then connecting that baseline to the lowest low, and that gives us the area from which we'll likely find the next swing high, oftentimes. Okay, so it's one of these two. On the tick chart, I used this one, and that's the one that we've just thrown over. But that same one on the minute chart, we've not yet thrown over. And in fact, I want to say that we've probably just hit this down sloping upper median line, and we have. Yeah, that's a little bit painful. That's why you use both minute and tick charts, Daniel. Oh, it's amazing. I forget my own. Well, I can at least chalk it up to, you know, rough morning. I'll just use that as my excuse. Yeah, you guys were right. You shouldn't be taking any trades when you're having such rough emotions. It becomes more difficult to make good decisions. I mean, it's tough enough as it is, right? You just think about it. Let me look at crude real quick before I miss something obvious. Uh-huh. I can't believe this. This is just amazing. We're almost at my dream target. The one that I was hoping and wishing and praying for. That's awesome. Yeah, we're almost there. Oh my gosh. 4047 is potentially the short of the month. I don't want to coax you or talk you into it, but man, it's starting to look a little good. You right now have a big, beautiful buying climax with high density on the 15-minute, and look at it. It's about to turn into a churn bar. So you are right now at that really good looking spot. I want it to be a little bit higher. It always gets me into trouble waiting for just 2 more ticks or 3 more or whatever. There it is, the 2-bar pattern on the 15-minute RTH chart. I'm going to ease into this one because I don't want to miss it. So I'm going to go ahead and get into 1, and I'm going to get in up to 5.
Order filled.
And my stop is going to be bigger than many of you could stomach. Bigger than even I could stomach, really. But it must be beyond 51, basically. It's a very large stop. It's only 31 ticks. It's not, I don't think it's done yet. I think it's still going to go a little bit higher. But if this is what I think it is, then we're likely to see a pretty incredible move down this afternoon. Well, it is this afternoon. $40.45. Yep, that's what I want to see, $40.45. So the next one that I'll enter will be at 40-ish, 40.42. And then the last few would be above 40.45, but no higher than 40.50. And then my stop is at 40.58. But I mean, giant, it's not giant, but it's a pretty good sized extreme climax, which is a high density climax, meaning that even though it is a wide ranging high volume bar, compared to the previous bars, if it didn't have as much resistance as the previous bars did, it would have gone probably twice as far with looks like about 2.3 times more volume. What is that? 70 divided by 184. Yeah. 2.4. So something like that. 2.38 or whatever. It's slowing down even on that previous massive wide-ranging bar. It's run into resistance, which is why the center of it is orange. And this one is really showing a lot of supply coming into the market, which is why it's got that little pink center. Cedric chose these colors, so don't, wasn't me. I would never choose pink. I'm just kidding. I chose the colors, and I do. I happen to love pink. It's true. Don't fault me. Trans lives matter. Sorry. Just kidding. Can't say stuff like that anymore, Daniel. You're gonna go to hate crime court. If I had kids, I would be a little bit disturbed by big old burly man dressed in a woman's dress in there in the bathroom with my little girl. I would have a problem with that. Thank goodness I don't have a little girl. Sorry, that's off topic big time. See if I can rein it in a little bit. I don't know if I can recover from that last one. I hope so. I have a sneaking suspicion that many of you would probably say something similar, just not in public, and certainly not on a microphone. Suppose I have a bit of a strange attitude today. I'm a bit well, don't really I don't know. Kind of don't give a. Hmm. I sure hope that business about bad things come in threes is not true. I think that's an old um, Hindu. Uh, no, it's Celtic. Yeah, they say bad things come in threes. I've seen it before. That's right, Sandy. Glad you said that. Boy, I wish he lived in Louisiana. We might just take a little walk down to the old governor palace. They seem to have been, well, it just seems like they need to be reminded that we have a constitution. Nobody's really done that. And it's bothersome. Quite. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go until 1:30ish. Hopefully I can get out of my own headspace here for a little while. A, B, C. That's a running triangle. Sure is. We just really don't want to see it go very much beyond 40, 45, 48. So I'm going to leave my stop where it is. If it pops, which I imagine it will when it does, see how it's hanging out up here? Let me show you what I mean. Somebody asked me to look at the hourly and 240 or something. I think it was Miss Diane. Yep. Okay. I'll do that when I get back. I'm just going to take a short break. But you see how it's hanging out up here? It tried to correct a little bit and then stopped twice right there. It's very tiny movement, but it's not a very great sign for it being ready to roll over and start moving to the downside. So I knowingly got into this early just in case, some sort of catalyst came in and I don't know, maybe they announced some news or something to get the move kicked off or whatever. So I knowingly and willingly got into the first contract early and with a sizable expense. But that was my attempt at not missing the trade. But as we can see, it's kind of staying up here. Every time it retraces, it goes right back up. So I've seen this a number of times. It's going to act like it's going to start going down, and then it's going to stop on a dime, and it's going to pop right up to 40 or past 40 and probably throw over our area, which is 45, by a little bit, hopefully not too much beyond 50, because my stop is at 58. So I'm going to go ahead and put one right at, I'd say, let's see, the top of that channel is 34. and the downsloping channel is 45. I'm going to put one at 46. And I'm going to take about a 5-minute break.
Order submitted.
That's another short signal just now. From the row 1. Well, it's coming from the row 1 and the tick 1. I'm going to leave that at 45. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll be back. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. Let me just export the hourly crude oil then real quick. I think I did the 30-minute. Yeah. And the 15. And now I must do the hourly. Right. So I'm thinking not too hard so as to not strain myself. But I am thinking it's awful weird looking. I'm thinking that's a 1-2 down. Or we're doing a triangle fourth wave, and this is in fact 1, 2, 3. We're doing a triangle 4. And then we do wave 5 up. That would not be the greatest for me. That would be 3 losing trades in a row in 2 days. I mean, that's to be expected. Eventually I'll have 8 or more statistically. It will have. That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Risk of ruin, maximum number of, or let's say, what's the word for it? It's like the largest number of losing trades in a row you can have. Max losing trades in a row or something. Max winning trades in a row. Uh, basically like the Six Sigma event, which Murphy's Law, which I'm very familiar with, would say that if it can happen, it will happen. And I would tend to agree with that. So those are the type of stats that you need to know about and you need to actually prepare for and trade in accordance with. All right, it's just rolled. All right, I believe this is the beginning of what I was just talking about. And I'll show you that once I get done with this. And then I'm going to step away for a moment. I don't know that I need to or should put much more on this chart. Okay. It's kind of interesting. anytime there's a wick that big, and I usually only deal with wicks on hourly, 30-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute, and 1-minute charts. That's when I'll use the lowest closing price or the next high or low. To use any other chart, like a tick chart with a big wick, well, not very many people are seeing that same wick because it's a tick chart. But with an hourly chart, well, there's a lot of people that see that one. And it seems that a lot of people that use market geometry will not use the end of that, but somewhere in the middle of it, if it's huge like this, or the first high or low, or the lowest closing price. I'm going to use that little first high or low there. And then all the way to the bottom. Does seem to line up. $70, 71. Wow. All right. It doesn't exactly help me with this trade that I'm in now, but to the downside, that line right there, and then the parallel from the high or low, of course, will likely be significant spots where we'll see a swing if in fact we do turn down. So you remember how I said it's going to look like it's rolling over and it's about to go straight down, and then it's going to turn around and pop up? Well, it looks like that's what's happening. I mean, it's no surprise. It's not like I'm the only one that can see things like that. It happens over and over and over. I just happen to have seen it many, many times. But it looked like it was about to roll over right there and then turning back up. So I'm fairly, how do I say that without sounding, let's just say that it would seem to me that hitting 40, 45 is likely, but it's not absolutely necessary because, man, look at this 30-minute chart. So pretty. Look at that 2-bar pattern there in the 30-minute. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Well, it is to me anyway. It's just so fascinating. I love it. I love it too much, obviously. Done myself in. Whatever. All right, I'll be back in 5 minutes. before I go, Geoff. Sorry, Jeffrey. Do I call you Jeffrey or Joffrey? Do you happen to be British, sir? Jeff, gotcha. All right, love. Where am I sending, saving updated charts? Are you? Do you have the toolbar installed? Okay. Yeah. Right. Don't worry about it until we get the new one to you, huh? Otherwise, it's just even more trouble. So wait for today. But so when I send it out, when I just did that export, it goes to here, crude oil futures. So 2 minutes ago, I exported it. There it is. Oh, that's the 30-minute. Oh, there's the hourly, right? Yep. So that's where the image of the charts will go. Now the actual objects go into your import manager, which on the new toolbar, you'll have a button on the actual toolbar that will open the import manager for you. And then you want to set the source to analysis live. And then you have Bo's objects, my objects, and then a list of all of the available objects. And then you want to make sure that you set this to available charts only and most recent. It should be most recent by default. And yet it's still not. Interesting. Yeah. This is we've already got the guide wrapped up on this one. At least I think Cedric has replaced the images for it. It's so cool. It's quite amazing. In fact, it's I mean, this is a totally revolutionary. Really, it's just no one knows about it. So, gots to get the word out. But that's what we'll do. I kind of launched it too early, but you know, COVID and such. But it is 100% fine-tuned and ready now. I'm just polishing up the files before I send her on out. I just happened to be in the middle of a bit of a Shiza storm and have quite a few different things going on all at once. That's the story of my life. I should know how to deal with it by now. Exactly. So you can make your charts look identical to mine by setting it to, well, let me just open it back up, by setting it to mirror. Which your settings will not look like this, but this is the newest one. By setting it to mirror, it will erase everything you have on your charts and replace it with everything I have on my charts. If you set it to merge, then you can still do your own analysis and it'll simply add my analysis to your charts, but you have the option to now use a pop-up confirmation so that if you're in the middle of drawing up, marking up a chart, and you don't want, you know, my export to import directly to that chart and mess you all up, because I hear it's pretty frustrating, then you can use a pop-up and you can click on yes when you want to import it or no when you don't. And then if you don't happen to be at your computer, you can set it to auto answer ignore or auto import. And then you can even play a sound file, which is pretty far out. And you can make it sound like an alarm clock and wake everyone in the house up. And they can say, Daddy, 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 new trade, new trade. Make us rich. Exactly. Star Wars theme. I'm going to include that one now that you mentioned that. Miss Andy, you say you cannot see what I am mirroring. Does that mean that you can't see what I'm showing right now? Oh man, am I on the wrong chart? Oh, no way. Oh man, I was on the wrong chart. Screen. So naturally, of course I was. Thanks for saying that, because I've been describing things and clicking on stuff and showing various options that no one had any idea what I was talking about. So you can set alerts for the imports here, and then you can choose to make sound alerts when files come in from me or Bo. The version that we'll have after this, you'll be able to choose, like say you want only alerts for hourly and above, nothing smaller than an hourly chart. You'll be able to make that choice. So there'll be like a minimum chart size setting. And we have a little algorithm that kind of compares tick charts to minute charts and determines whether it's bigger or larger. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. Actually, in fact, we'll probably use the source chart tag to determine that. So there'll likely be two options, one for minute charts, one for tick charts. So what am I doing here? This is the source chart tag, right here, min4, and you'll be able to set a minimum or a maximum or both for that alert eventually. That'll be the next thing that we add. But then you can, if you want it to merge my objects with yours, you set it to merge. If you want to wipe out your objects and replace it with mine or Bo's, you set it to mirror, which is to copy mine exactly and Bo's exactly. And then if you're importing both, then it should keep both of ours. That's an interesting, yeah. Cannot believe I'm sure he's already tested that, but that's one thing I didn't add to the specs. What happens if it's set to mirror and you've got 3 different analysts? Huh. How obvious. Mirror and 2 or more analysts. Forgot how to spell. Okay. Yeah, I need to ask him about that. But yeah, this new toolbar is just with the Analysis Live and Import Manager. And I mean, it's a game changer. It will be for a lot of people anyway. I just got to get I don't know. I got to get my head back in order. I'm just dealing with a lot of stress at the moment and a lot of unnecessary stress that I shouldn't be having to deal with. But if I wasn't, then, you know, I'd be suspicious that something is wrong. Because that's just kind of the way life is, isn't it? For some reason, it took me 39 years to figure that out. All right. This should be. Do I want to add one so high or a little bit lower? We could be doing that reversal at any moment after this pop. I just want to make sure I get a second one. I just don't want to pay too much for it. That's a pretty good spot. I'm going to leave it there. I'll be back in about 10 minutes, and then we'll carry on until 1:45. All right. Oh, Jeff, yeah, for sure. We'll have, when the update goes out, I mean, I imagine we'll be busy for the whole entire weekend. Well, I'm not going to ask Cedric to do that, but yeah, I imagine I'll be having to. We might do a combined session on Saturday. And just see if going through it a couple of times on a couple of people's computers is enough to get other people to the point where they can do it themselves. And then if not, then I'll just go from one to the next and do it as fast as humanly possible. But yeah, when that comes out, when it's coming out, and then I'm not supposed to talk about the future, but I sincerely believe it will be today. Then it'll also be accompanied with quite a load of directions, which is going to be overwhelming, which is why I didn't want to include so much at once. And I want to try to get this installation process in as few words as possible, which is why I'm turning it into a GIF or a GIF with annotated portions of the video rather than me speaking, because if I'm speaking, I can talk about 30 things in 30 seconds. So, all right, I'll be back in 10 minutes. Sorry, that took a little longer than I expected. I still think it's going up one more time. At least I hope it does, so I can get another contract in. Hope. 4-letter word. But it's a good word. Must have it. I don't have an ES240 minute, but I have an ES138 minute. Miss Diane, do you have the Master Suite workspaces? Or just the toolbar workspaces? Just the toolbar. I should give you a call, actually, because I don't know that I've spoken to you yet. I don't think I have I? Okay, maybe I could give you a call this afternoon later. I wish I had everybody's. Hey, RF, how you doing? Wish I had everybody's memberships by their name, but it's not possible in Zoom. I remember a lot of stuff, but evidently not everything like I thought I used to be able to. Miss Diane, you recently signed up for the toolbar, right? Is that right? Sorry. Could you just tell me what it is that you have? The trial. Okay. Gotcha. So you don't actually have the toolbar installed? I see. Okay. Well, let me just open up a 240 then. RF is asking, can I please include a stock template? You mean a workspace or an actual market analyzer template? Because I do have a market analyzer template coming in the update, and you can use it for whatever. You mean a workspace, right? I've already put all that together. I mean, it would. Let me. I don't want to promise you something I can't deliver on because that's turned into a habit of mine that I need to break. But I'll tell you that I'll attempt to do that. It's just that they all must go out at the same time, and that time is now. And to add more is to postpone, and I don't think very many would appreciate that at this point. In fact, I'm quite sure of it. I've been told as much. But I'll give it a shot. So you just have the volume analyst and the divergence analyst. Okay. My target on the crude, I'll show you, would be below the low. Much below the low. Let me work on this ES for a moment. I'm going to go for another 13 minutes. I have a feeling that this is a pertinent or a very important line, but not from the low. Maybe from that low or the gap low. We're going to do, oh yeah, it is from the gap low. Look at that. And the breakthrough and pull back to, I'm thinking, yeah, I was focused on the tick charts and the ES without having looked at the minute chart. And yeah, that's many a person's regret on losing trades. Focusing on only one and not both. And then you end up missing the trade or getting in too early and then getting ticked out, which is, you know, in my case, the latter. And now ES has begun its descent. So if it's what I think it's turning into, this will end up being the low down here. Kind of thinking that's our first 5. That's B. And we are in the midst of the third wave of C. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Because then we would have come back to this low, possibly even as far as this one. And let me try something. Yeah, the charts will flash red whenever there's a volume signal, any volume signal, and you can get the signal and then it can go away and then it can come back, especially the churn. Once you have a climax bar, unless it's on the tick chart or row bars, once it becomes a climax, it will typically stay a climax and then potentially turn into an extreme climax. But a churn bar can be a churn bar and then the range grow and it can end up being either a non-signal or a a climax. Bring that up to the lowest. Lower the gap. Okay, that's interesting too. And then now we want to use the actual stock index. This is a really difficult pattern here because I don't know if that is the actual end of the fifth wave, like most Elliott wave guys would say it is. If it is, then yeah, this is maybe, the end of wave 1 of 3 down. This is a 1, 2, 1, and now we're in 2. But it just doesn't really work right because 4 is overlapping with 1 there. I don't think this thing is done going to the upside. That's not your normal top in stock indices, stock indices. It's not what it looks like typically for major, major, major highs. Major highs tend to be quite drawn out and dramatic. Not dramatic, just long lasting, well, kind of like this. And you can clearly see the kind of unraveling of long positions, like this choppy back and forth stuff. A major high, like the analysts, Elliott wave analysts, are thinking that this is I've never seen one look anything remotely close to this. In a commodity, maybe, but not in a stock index. The big boys haven't had enough time up here to unload all of their positions and get short. That takes a lot of time. So I do think we're headed for one more high. I just am unsure of where this low will end up being, but I do have another chart to look at. I'm gonna end it on the dime in 5 minutes, right at 2 o'clock. So if I don't have enough time to answer your question, let's go over it together again tomorrow. I knew that I was getting in early on the ES too. And it's so perfect on that minute chart. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Yeah, that'll work. Not the best colors for a light colored background, but yeah, that's unlike any major high I've ever seen. No rounding out, no chop, no chance for the bankers to unload their long positions. I believe this is to scare everyone out so that they can build their big long positions down here for the next high. Saw a UPS truck going about 55 miles an hour down my concrete road out here that you can barely go 15 miles an hour down. He must be in one heck of a hurry. You guys probably heard him. Did you hear all that racket? People's fine china and chandeliers bouncing around in that truck. Mm. We definitely have room to the downside, so I am not. Well, I'm quite upset that I am not up about 33 points right now, but I'll get over it pretty quickly. I'm already over it. Let me see. This is tricky at these extreme sell-off lows. Knowing the exact price to connect to, I want to say it's going to be the lowest closing price. This is a 2-hour chart though. Let me do a little better than that. What is 390, right? So 130. Well, that's cool. When you guys are writing stuff to other people, sometimes you're sending it to panelists only. I wish I could. Oh, I can take a screenshot like this and then I can show you. I can't show you the chat window itself, but so Jorge's writing. It's worth it to update to the master suite, but he's sending that to all panelists. So I'm the only one that sees that. And then Jeff is asking where the target is. I'm the only one that sees it when it's to all panelists. And then Jeff is saying he thinks he's going to like this. He's up more using TTP than his old system. I think that's what you're saying. I'm up more using TTP and not my old system. Yeah. So there's an option here. The two, you can select all panelists, or you can select all panelists and attendees. like this right here. So click on that drop down and then you can send it to everybody. Yeah, let me see if I can export that. Oh. There we go. Now it lines up with that high. Well, I mean, that had nothing to do with this, but what about that gap high? Or gap low, rather. That's the close before the gap up. Okay, that's the midline that I wanted to see. The one that lines up with that pullback and the low before that gap through it. And that is quite a ways lower. So this is the actual S&P 500. I like maroon. Let's use maroon. Too many options. Now these are including pennies, huh? Not 25-cent increments. I want to say my target would be somewhere down in here for this move. And then I would have to call this a big, well, it's going to be 1, 2 of 5. So it'll be a 1, 2, and then we'll go up wave 3 and 4 and 5. I think, I hope. Because, oof, if what the other guys say is true, and we're going down below this low, people can't be that foolish to believe that. Never mind. Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. Just turn off the television, huh? Turn that thing off. Stop all this nonsense. Stop all this orange man bad. He should have done more. He should have closed every single business and shut everyone in their closet. More people have died from suicide. It's just asinine. Really pisses me off, in case you haven't noticed. And then they'll say we should be more like China. Really? Oh my. That's a problem. That is a problem. If you think that, then you can just hit the road, Jack. I don't want to be around you. I was hoping my microphone was muted that whole time, but it wasn't. Hey, Scott, I'm just now seeing your question. Cedric sent them in an email that some people are not receiving, but we are moving all members' email situation deal to a new email sender. The one that we have is evidently about the worst one. It's quite ridiculous, but yeah. So I hope to do that today, but I'm not doing anything until I actually get the update installers out. I may task Cedric with that when he gets in tomorrow. And then, yeah, they'll also go into your members area. Mm-hmm. They're actually going to go on the homepage of the website, the main website too. So they're on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and watch them. Just when you go to trade the plan. Oh my gosh, I'm already 8 minutes late. I'm going to end with this after I look at crude. Go to youtube.com and where do I go? I don't arrest cop killers. Arrest killer cops. Oh, I thought that should say arrest cop killers. We see the police kill people in their beds. Oh my. Something in the water. Go to videos. And here they are. So this is the list of videos. And there you guys go. I'm going to put that in the form as well. All right, let's look at the crude real fast. I didn't get filled on my second contract, obviously. Two cops were killed last night in Louisville by the peaceful protesters. Not so fun fact. Yeah, not so fun at all. Dark days. Not quite what I expected. But then again, that was some sort of shakeout. You know what I just had rolling around in my mind? It's shake and bake, and I helped. You remember that commercial? Yeah, the mind of Daniel. It's shake and bake, and I helped. Yeah, not exactly what I wanted, but nonetheless, moving on. Okay, the flip side to that is what? Hmm? The flip side to that is an actual triple three, I think. Well, uh, not to get all super confusing and weird, but forget about everything else. This is corrective. It would appear to me as if it were corrective. So from this low up, we do have a potential 1, 2, 3. That may in fact be a 4. And now we go up to take out these guys that went short here, and then hopefully fill my second contract and hit 45, but not go above 58. And then I'll get into up. I said 4 or 5. I'll probably max out at 3. But that's on a 110 grand account, huh? Fake money, unfortunately. So I'm not risking a ton, and you shouldn't either. Not that I'm trying to tell you what to do, but we'll discuss those details tomorrow. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Apologies about this morning. I'm just, you know, icing on the cake of turd cake, whatever. All right, I'll talk to you guys in the morning. Bye, everyone. You're welcome. My pleasure. No, I'll be on time tomorrow. I just had a bit of a situation here. It was the last thing in the world I needed today or any other day. That dragged on for far too long, and I said way too much that I shouldn't have said, but can't take that back. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock Central.